Why are we speaking still about this? We're enjoying coffee. Or like, no, but like the pizza is gonna be cold.
My heart's just like first.
Started in London with Strange Rivers Productions. It was five of us, actresses from all over Europe. And we started creating something together. It was a multidisciplinary performance. And after that, we were like, oh, we really enjoy working together. Let's create something that is fun for us to play. That's how Sweet Survival was born.
You thought about it as a weekend project, and it ended up being a 7-year project.
You have to make that first one to figure out the right heat of the pan and the right amount of oil and stuff. Sweet Survival is my first pancake, as I like to call it. We started writing the story, and I think we went through a process that was very imaginative, and we didn't want to limit ourselves too much, because let's write it, and then let's see if we can actually make it. So we went all in. Can't believe that this thing that we started 7 years ago, that this is finally happening with these people coming together from different parts of the world, also different worlds of mine. I had my world in London, I had my world in Vienna, and I had my bubble in Spain, and them coming together. So that was really beautiful.
Katharina, Catherine, yes. How do you want us to pronounce your name?
Let's go with
internationally,
Yeah, let's go with Katharina.
Katharina, I like it. It's beautiful. You are a very talented actor. You're a writer, director, and newly a stand-up comic.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
And not only that, you also co-founded a collective in London to create better roles for women. I would love to hear more about that. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so the collective is called Strange Rivers Productions. And it started in 2017 when I was living in London. We met, it was five of us, or we're still all alive, so still 5 actresses from all over Europe. And we met in a workshop at the Actors Centre in London. And we started creating something together. It was a multidisciplinary performance that we really enjoyed doing together, the 5 of us, but also we had some musicians from the Royal College of Music, and we had a composer from there as well, and a audio-visual artist who created some videos and things for the performance. And after that, we were like, oh, we really enjoy working together. Let's do something again. And all of us wanted to do more film. So we were like, let's write a film together, or let's create a film together, and let's create something that is fun for us to play, because all of us we were getting auditions and roles, but more as, the, I don't know, friendly neighbor, lovely teacher. And we were looking to play something more exciting. So 2 of us, Hella Stichelmeier and I, we started writing a script based on the 5 actors that we had, 5 actresses. And we looked at each one of the women and were like, okay, what could be really fun for them to play? And we discussed it also with them, and then created the basic storyline and the characters, and then we kept adding on to that. That's how Sweet Survival was born. And initially the plan was to write something that we could film in a weekend, because all of us were like, oh, we need stuff for our show reels anyway, so let's do something small and fun. And then it grew and grew and grew, and over the course of 7 years, it grew into something really big. I think the production value is around £85,000. And the budget that we raised for it was maybe a fourth of that. But still, we were able to create something cool.
Have you, as the collective, has it grown, the collective itself?
Well, yeah, I would say so. I mean, Street Survival was the last project that we did under that umbrella. Because then, because of the pandemic and Brexit and stuff, people moved away from London. But during over the course of the filming, more and more people became part of it. Or for example, Luna Eruso. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing that name. It's Luna Eruzo. She's Spanish. She came on board as well. She was the co-director on the Street Survival and helped a lot making it happen. So I would say the collective itself has not grown massively, but we have co-created and worked together with lots of women and also men.
Is it something that is open, like as in if somebody wants to join, or have you?
It's a very loose thing. It's basically it's a name, Strange Rivers Productions. It's not so. Yeah, it's not a company that we found or like an NGO or like a.
Got it.
It's nothing legal. It's more like the umbrella that we used.
It's legally charming.
It's illegally charming, yeah. And yeah, I mean, people can join. It's open. As I said, at the moment, we're not working on something together, but it's still there, and it's nice to know. I'm still in touch with the women who founded it. So yeah, it's still there, and we all know it exists. But sometimes things in life change, and you move to another country, or you start a family, but then people come back together after a couple of years maybe, and yeah, I love that thought of this umbrella being there for when we want to create something together again.
That's beautiful.
I want to take us a few steps back into your former training in Vienna. So you finished, was it drama school, right? So formerly trained actress, and you also worked in Vienna. How this idea of moving to London came about, and is there the connection that with the collective? So tell us this story, please.
So I finished drama school in 2014. Yeah. And then I kept working in theatre in Vienna for 2 years. And after those 2 years, I felt like, I wanted to get some deeper training or more tools to add to my tool case. And London back then was the place where I knew I speak the language. And the Actors Centre there, I knew that existed. I don't remember how I knew that, but I somehow learned about it and found out about it. And it was just a great way to, create my own curriculum there and do lots of different workshops. I also applied for a master's in screen acting at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. And I got on the wait list twice, like 2 years, 2 consecutive years. I was on the wait list, and I just didn't want to wait, sit around and wait for them to accept me. So I thought, you know what, I can take that money that the master would have cost me and use that to create my own curriculum and create my own projects. And then through the Actors Centre, I met the other actresses, Anna, Marta, Hella, Eva, and me, the 5th one. And that's how things started there. And also I met Luna Eruzo, like I said, by chance, by just being there. Yeah, so that's why I went to London. Also, my then partner, did his master's at London South Bank University. So it was an opportunity for the both of us to go to a different city together. And then I ended up staying there for 2 years. And soaking, I felt like I was soaking everything up like a sponge. Like, I did so many different, like from, I don't know, physical comedy, writing, directing, auditioning, of course, Le Coq, movement. I met Nikki Flax there, who has her own acting technique, which is called acting with passion, which is very much about the body and how emotions are stored in the body, and how as actors we can connect to those emotions. Chekhov, like loads of different things, and I was soaking everything up like a sponge. And as I said, picking up new tools to add to my toolbox.
That's the best.
Wow.
That is the best. But let's dive in deeper into the Sweet Survival, which is your first film, right? Short film. And I was lucky enough to see it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching it.
Amazing. Interesting. And I think the story behind it all, because as you said, you started the collective because all of you felt like, I don't want to play the neighbor like 5 houses further. I'm like, no, I have more potential. I want to be seen. I want to dive deeper into characters. And but then you told us that it like should have been like, or you thought about as a weekend project, and it ended up being a 7-year project, like until you then. So please tell us about that.
Okay, so yeah, Sweet Survival is my first pancake, as I like to call it. In Austria we have Palatschinken, and when you make the first pancake, it turns out maybe a bit wobbly or undercooked or overcooked.
Yes.
But you have to make that first one to figure out the right heat of the pan and the right amount of oil and stuff. So Sweet Survival is that for me, and it took me a while, I would say, or a bit, but now I'm proud of it. Yeah, as I said, it all started in London with Strange Rivers Productions and the wish to create something for our show reels, and to create something that was fun to play for us. So we started writing the story, and Hella and I think we went through a process that was very imaginative, and we didn't want to limit ourselves too much, because like, let's write it, and then let's see if we can actually make it. But let's not limit ourselves too much, because then we might lose the fun. So we went all in, and we had lots of inspirations from Western films and from action films and from dark comedies. And we kind of put it all together in a pot and stirred it. And out came the story of Sweet Survival, which is about 5 women at an abandoned, it used to be, sorry, that was the initial log line, 5 women at an abandoned gas station who have to overcome or fight against a loner who surprises them, and then deal with him.
I'm very curious about this nitty-gritty of collaborating with 5 different women. It's like 5 different universes basically coming together to co-create. Did you all write together? Did you have those creative sessions? Did you stick to a particular genre, or how this process went about?
So the writers were Hella Stichelmeier and I. So it was the 2 of us who met regularly, like a couple of times a week sometimes, to write, and we would check in with the other ladies every now and then, like, so this is the character that we created for you. Do you think that would be fun for you to play? And they were all excited. But they let us write our own thing, because I think I love writing with a second person. I'm now writing something, or I'm involved in a project where there will be 3 of us. That's new for me. But I think if there's too many writers, it could also potentially be a bit overwhelming if it's your first project. I think if you're a well-seasoned writer, then you can probably, work with a whole room of writers. But for this project, it was good that it was 2 of us. And we were very much on the same page. I think we have not the same taste in things, but enough of an overlap to make it work. And I really love dark comedy, and Hella is really great at thriller, everything that has to do with thriller and is dark and maybe a bit mysterious. So we brought that together and then wrote something. And I think it was actually quite late in the process that we read it to the other one. So when we had our first or second draft that we were comfortable with, we then presented it to the others and had a read through, like a table read. But they let us work quite freely, like independently, the 2 of us. And then when it turned out it's too big to film on a weekend, we decided as a group, because everyone was like excited about, like, oh, this is an amazing story. It was set in a petrol station in the middle of nowhere in a dystopian future. And it had action scenes in it and some more tricky stuff, some stunts and stuff. And it was clear that this could not be filmed in a weekend. So we were like, okay, let's go bigger. And we started a crowdfunding campaign. And that's where the other 3 also took over some tasks, creating videos for the crowdfunding, creating pictures. And we basically created the Indiegogo campaign as a group, the 5 of us. Everyone contributed. One of the ladies gave us her flat basically to use to film a teaser trailer. We had a DOP come in and film it for us, and then a friend of mine, she's an editor, a professional editor, she edited a really cool teaser trailer for our campaign. And then we did the crowdfunding, and that gave us like a base, like an amount of money that we could use to then apply for further funding. We also had a director attached, who then, she was working with us for a couple of months actually. And we rewrote the script with her. She brought in a lot of new ideas, and it became even more complex, the whole thing. It almost became like a universe that could be turned into a series. But then she had to drop out because she was offered a job to work for BBC and film a series, which is amazing, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So she had to leave the project again, and we were there. And then the others were like, Katharina, why don't you direct it? Why don't you take over? Hella, the other writer, she didn't want to direct. She wanted to focus more on acting, because we were all going to be in front of the camera as well. So she was like, I'm not going to direct. Katharina, you can do it. We co-wrote it, it inside out. And also I knew that if I directed it, I could apply for funding from my home county in Austria. So I was like, okay, I'm going to wear that hat as well. Then we applied for funding from different counties in Austria and my hometown as well. And that then gave us a good sum of money to start filming. And we were looking for locations initially in the UK, but it was really hard to find something there. We were looking for an abandoned gas station, basically, in the middle of nowhere, that also had some infrastructure around so that we could, bring a crew and everyone there. And it turned out to be way too expensive. So we were looking for other options. And Luna, she's from the south of Spain. Her and a friend of hers, they are from a region where there's like a there's an area where there are ruins from a former metal plant. So it was a company that was working with metal and stuff, and it's in ruins. And the ruins are from 1880s until the 1950s because they added new structures.
Interesting.
So, and it looks so amazing. You know, you have that red soil and like burned patches of land that are really black.
Cinematic.
It's so
that's
delicious. It's so cinematic. It's so cinematic. And we went there on a tech recce, and I was blown away. However, it was in Spain, in the middle of nowhere, and there was not a lot of infrastructure around. So we would have had to bring everything in, generators and, you know, everything, basically, toilets, everything. But we were already talking to like businesses nearby that were potentially supporting us. And we were talking to the mayors of the different towns there. And we arranged to film there. We set a date. It would have been April 2020. But then, as we all know, there was something that happened
in the way.
So 2 weeks before we started shooting, or we were meant to start shooting, the pandemic hit and we had to postpone everything.
So wait, so may I ask you, so we're here this is 2020.
Yeah.
Pandemic hits, which obviously, wow, that's huge. You had enough money to start filming in Spain at that fantastic location. Getting everyone in there, you needed everything. Like you said, there's no infrastructure, nothing. Is that all from the Indiegogo? I think that's the one you did. You raised that much money to start?
No. So with Indiegogo, we raised a couple of €1,000. That was our basis. And then I applied for more funding from the county of Lower Austria, the county of Vorarlberg, because I was born there, and my hometown. And we had some, like, for example, so many good things happened during this process. I mean, I don't know. We were so blessed that there were things happening. We also had obstacles, but we also had so many good things happening. And for example, my cousin, she was turning 40, and she heard about my project, and she celebrated her 40th birthday. And I didn't know about that. But then when I got the invitation, it said, instead of giving me gifts, please donate to my cousin's film project.
Oh, how sweet.
No, wow.
Yeah. We
love her.
Yeah.
We need more of her in this world.
Yeah. Which was amazing because her friends and family, they basically donated to our project as well and supported us, which is like
so special.
Yeah, that was a true blessing. And it was not something that I, had thought about or had, I don't know. That something like that could happen. So
may I ask you, because you said that you did so many different things, location scouting, budgeting, applying for funding. Is it still within those 5 people that you were, 5 female, or did you got other people involved?
No, there were other people involved as well. It's hard to say how many of us there were at like a specific point of time, but at that stage, my parents were very supportive. My mom and my stepdad, they helped me with all the applications to the different counties in Austria, the different funding bodies, because they themselves had done cultural projects in the past, and they knew how to fill out these forms, etc. My then partner was also very supportive. And in Spain, we had like a Spanish, delegation of people. It was Luna, who also co-directed Street Survival. Luna was there, and her friend Ara, who was going to be our production designer in Spain. She was there, and then another friend of theirs, Susanna, her dad owns a junkyard, and for example, he was going to lend us his junk. so that we could use that for production design, because we were going to need that because of the, dystopian future thing. So yeah, there were lots of people attached and supporting us. I'd say I probably did because I was wearing so many hats, I was doing a big part of the work, but there were lots of people supporting us. Yeah.
And the team, it kind of grew organically, right? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it did grow. We also had a producer in the UK attached, Eva, and even though we were not going to film in the UK, she was still there, supporting us, writing stuff and organizing things. And she stayed with us until the end. She was also there for the filming then later. So that was the time when we were planning to film in Spain. And then because of
those before the pandemic and where we're talking about, okay. And this is still with the story being the original one with the 5 of you that started. This is all 2020. So there nothing has changed. But then something happens. Pandemic.
Yeah, pandemic, and we had to put everything on hold, and everyone was like, okay, we don't know what's going to happen. Let's just put it on hold and let's see. And then in 2021, when things were opening up again, but still some countries or some cities were going to lockdown or in and out of lockdown. And I was like, we have this money, and the funding bodies were very kind. They were saying, well, you take your time, you do the project whenever you can make it. But I was kind of like, I really need to get it done because otherwise it might never happen. And things in Spain were a bit difficult because we were looking for a producer there to help us there. But the system there is a bit different. So there are not many producers who are able to do low budget productions because they need to earn a lot of money to be able to, sustain their business. And also, I think they have to pay like a yearly fee to be able to be a self-employed producer. And also in that region, there's like no one. But also, again, we were so lucky because somehow, I think through a Facebook group, we found a producer in Spain or from Spain, but she also worked in the UK, who then connected us to a lady in Spain who's really like, I don't know if that, but she's like high up in the hierarchy of film in Spain. And she was talking to us on a Zoom call and giving us tips and stuff. So it was I was like, it was unbelievable, the people we got to talk to and who were supporting us. And even if they couldn't, produce it for us, but they were connecting us to people. And I learned so much during that time. So then in 2020, I made the decision to film in Austria because I knew if things went wrong, I speak the language. I know people here. I have my safety net here. My family is here. Friends and colleagues are here. And if worst comes to worst, I know I can call my mom and be like, Mom, please help.
Mom.
Or call my friends, even those who don't have anything to do with film, and be like, can you hold this boom? So it just felt safer to film here. And then we needed to find a location. And I think it was August 2021 when I picked up the phone and I called Julia Stipsitz, whom you know. And I talked to her on the phone and she knew about the project. And I told her, I'm thinking about filming in Austria. Do you think that's a good idea? And she was like, yeah, I think you can do it. And I was like, would you support me? Would you come on board as a co-producer or producer? And she said, I should say no. but I'm gonna say yes. So yeah, Julia came on board, and within weeks, she managed to find a location, to talk to the Vienna Film Commission, to yeah. And again, so many, and I probably forgot half of the things that happened to us, but so many funny coincidences happened, and people heard about the project and suddenly contacted us, and offered help and support, which was amazing. And then we hired crew from Austria, mainly from Austria, but also from Spain, because we were looking to have an all-female crew, which turned out to be impossible for us, because we couldn't find a female grip, for example. And also, female gaffers are so high in demand in Austria that they're all busy working, which is amazing.
That's amazing.
Good for them.
And for us, it meant that we took on board some men who were amazing. And it was such a lovely experience, such a great experience. I remember the recce that we had, the tech recce with our production designer, Nora Kurzweil. And we were there for like 4 or 5 hours walking around with our DP from, she's from Spain, but then she lived in London. And so it was a really like a mixed group of women. We were walking around. And then at the end, towards the end, Nora said, you know what? It's so interesting. We spent 4 or 5 hours together doing this tech recce and no one shouted. And I looked at her in disbelief. I was like, why would anyone here shout? Like, what could be a reason? She was like, well, you have no idea how other film sets sometimes work. And I was like, yeah, I know. I have no idea that this is my first one. But yeah, overall, I think it was a very cool experience.
But there's something changed, because now I have watched. I'm not gonna say too much because I want people to watch your film, so I don't want to, give it away.
Yeah.
Do watch it. It's really interesting. I love the twist, and I love just that was an interesting thing. Also just the DOP, fantastic work.
Yeah, Nuria
Editing,
Perez.
fantastic work.
Yeah.
Like, just there were frames that they felt like paintings.
Oh,
and they
wow,
drew
thank
you
you.
in. So it was really, particularly where I'm like the location and the way you place the camera, and you could see the location. Like I don't want to say too much. I'm trying not to give anything away, but it was, you know what I mean. The outside, when you see the establishing shot. Wow. Very, very special. But something, I think you're not now the 5 actresses that you were, because something changed there, and also the story, because now I heard what the story original was, and when I watched it, it's not the same anymore.
No, it's not the same.
Why? What happened?
So because of because we had to postpone it, life circumstances changed. And Hella, for example, who's my co-writer, she had moved to Mumbai.
Oh.
So she still lives there.
Oh.
So she was not able to make it to Austria for the filming. And I had to recast, and instead of her, we then cast Kudra Owens.
Fantastic actress.
Yeah, she's amazing. And also Eva, the other actress, couldn't make it, so we cast Valerie Bolzano in her place, which was also a great decision, and she was lovely to work with. And the loner, we knew we had to cast a guy who was not in our collective already. So in Spain, we had a Spanish stuntman who was going to play that role. But then in Austria, we recast, and it was Ingo Paulik, who's a very dear colleague of mine, who also does stage combat. and stuff. And so I knew he was going to be able to do the things he needs to do. And we also had to adapt the story a bit in the sense that we were not able to find a gas station, an abandoned gas station in Austria. So we filmed at Zukunftshof, which is in Vienna. It's on the outs, like it's on the border. It's on the border to Lower Austria. So there's lots of fields around, but it's still Vienna.
Is this the 23rd?
I think it could be, but I'm not sure. I'm so bad with the Viennese districts. But it's in the south, so it's very close to Schwechat.
Schwechat's down there. Okay, that's not the 23rd. Got it. That's why I would not have thought. I thought it was outside somewhere. No, in Vienna.
No, it's Zukunftshof, which is right next to a snail farm where they breed snails.
Why? Sorry.
To eat.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a rural Vienna. But it was an amazing location. The people there were so kind and so helpful as well. They showed us around, and we were allowed to like pick the place that we thought was going to be the easiest to transform into what we needed it to look like. And Nora Kurzweil and her team did an amazing job, because the thing that you see in the film, the inside of the shop and the seating, like where the dinner table, etc., that was a former cow stable. So there was nothing in there except for blank walls, and like a water basin, like a thing where the cows could drink. Basically, that was it.
Well done.
And everything else had to be built,
designed. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
May I ask you about the plot and the message that you're hoping that the audience will walk away from watching?
So the story is about 5 women in a dystopian future who go about their daily business when they're disturbed by an intruder who tries to rob them. And they overpower him, and to his surprise, they invite him to stay for dinner. But then after a while, he realizes that what they're selling there in this kind of black market is not just sweets and alcohol, but also other stuff. And he feels the danger rising, and he tries to escape. So I think when I set out to write something, it was not the first thing that I had in mind to write a thriller / horror, maybe. But it somehow organically turned into that. And the message, I would say, is how far do people go to survive, and how can you blame them? And also, things might not be what they seem to be. And I think when Hella and I were writing, we wanted the audience to kind of be like, okay, who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? And can you really...
The suspense.
Yeah, can you... Yeah. Are the bad guys really bad, and are the good guys really good? That maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And then also initially... sorry.
No, go ahead.
Initially, like the world was a lot bigger, and we had scenes outside of this no man's land in the city. That in our imagination, the cities were like gated cities where people lead a very, digitalized, sterile life where everything's like pristine, and then there's this no man's land where the people live who don't want to be part, or who cannot be part of that gated community, and they have to somehow survive there because resources are scarce. But but then there's only so much you can show in a short film, so we were not able to, you know, show that side. So that's for when we turn this whole thing into a series, maybe at some point.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Would you? I mean, after 7 years of, you know, do you?
Well, I think Hella has written something that was inspired by our story, and she has that in her drawer. Hella has written a couple of scripts since then, and one of them is a series that is set in a dystopian future. Yeah, who knows? Maybe. Yeah, I definitely, after the shoot, I definitely needed some time to, you know, recharge and recover. And when people were asking, so what's the next project? I was like, oh, leave me alone. I can't think of another project now.
What was it? What was it for you that where you say, because you talked about it, it feels like it was very harmonic, like you all were in a very good space together. There wasn't yelling, it was more respect, it was supporting each other, lifting each other up, working, in harmony. Yet we know filmmaking can be really beautiful, awesome, fantastic, and draining.
Yes.
What was it for you where you're like afterwards? Was it also maybe the stress of like finally doing this and, you know, birthing this like to life kinda? Was it maybe that? Or what was it that where you were like, okay, I really just need to like just like don't talk to me. I just need a pause. What was it for you?
I think it was multiple things. So one thing was, it was my first project and I was wearing so many hats. I was co-writer, director, producer, executive producer, actor. And I felt responsible for everything, basically. So I also felt responsible for putting pressure or stress on other people. So that, and I know that, you know, a shoot can be stressful and sometimes you need more time and you go over time. And that's okay to some extent. And it was just 4.5 days of filming. So it was a limited amount of time, but still I felt this immense responsibility. Also, my family was supporting, colleagues and friends of mine were supporting. Maybe also to some extent, I just couldn't believe how much good happened, you know, how someone could say after a full day of shooting, I'm happy to stay for 2 more hours and do this, you know. If you get us pizza, everything's fine.
That's an important condition.
I can 10 pieces.
Pizza does magic.
Yeah, you know. And then also the build up of 7 years and everything we had gone through, to have that release of now it's done. Yeah, I think that, and also not just the responsibility, but also it was a lot of work and I didn't sleep a lot during those 4 days.
That we can believe.
Yeah, and you know, then returning things, and some things maybe break on set and you have to replace them or figure out insurance, talk to insurance and stuff. And that was just a lot to do. But in the end, yeah, it was fine. But it also meant that because I was so low on energy, I could not go into editing straight away. I had to take a break. And that break was good. It was the right thing to do. And so basically almost a year later, after we had finished filming, I went into the editing room with our editor, Lydia Mantler. That's her name. And we started editing. And then I was also talking to our sound designer and our composer. And they were working from London. So that was all on Zoom. And yeah, we finished editing and everything in, I think it was, February 2023.
That whole year you took off, like you just deliberately were like, I need a year, or it just somehow evolved into a year. What did you do in that time? Was that really a time where you just like, I need a break from this art, or were you then back in theater?
I still did theater. I still did theater and my voice acting jobs because I had to survive. I also had a day job back then, and I think, what else was there? I did the summer tour. There were also a lot of things going on in my private life, and in 2022 I went through a breakup that also cost me a lot of like energy and brain space. But quite soon after that, I was like, okay, now I'm ready. Now I can focus on Sweet Survival, and I want to finish it now. And it was good because the story had changed and the location had changed, and how I had imagined things in my head when I was writing it was very different to what then was on screen. That year or that time away allowed me to look at it with fresh eyes and be like, oh, actually, it's not that bad, because right after the shoot, I only saw, or mainly saw, what went wrong and what we were not able to achieve because of time restraints and stuff. Because we had people from all over Europe come to Vienna to film this with us, and they had to leave. So there was no, oh, let's do some additional shoot,
Yeah, it was Richard.
Yeah. But then coming back after a couple of months, looking at it, I was like, cool. Yeah, we can work with this. And then Lydia did her magic, and the composer and the sound editor, sound designer did their magic. And then it came together actually quite nicely.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful, because Luna she was essential in this, because she was there on set, and that's why. So she was there on set with me, not as a co-director initially. She was just there as a friend who's also in filmmaking, as support wherever we needed her. But then what she did with her amazing brain, she's so structured and organized, she helped me find the shots that we need to be able to tell the story, even if we don't have a lot of time. That's why you see so many. I mean, it was also a creative choice with Nuria, my DP, to have a lot of group shots to show them as a pack. But then Luna was like, okay, we need to cut it down even more. So these are the shots that you can take, and yeah. So she was also assisting the first AD probably. And then in post-production, she was there with me as well. Because I think I'm not great as a solo, artist. I love co-creating and having that, that sounding board or discussing things with people. And it was still, in the end, it was my responsibility. And sorry, I'm touching my mic here. In the end, it was still my responsibility, and I had to make the call. But I loved having someone there to, discuss things and go through different versions and options.
No, this is so important.
Yeah.
Also, the person you can trust, and that you kind of have the same artistic vision, or maybe not the same, but the one that you admire and can, that's amazing. Interesting. You shared with us another experience that I don't believe that have happened yet, right? This 48 hours challenge, but it's such a different thing. So 7 years of something that was brewing, the like a love baby. And now you're setting on a journey to do like an 84 hours challenge. Can you tell us more about it? It's
Yeah.
very
So
fascinating.
it's the extreme opposite, I would say. It's a 48-hour challenge. So, and those happen all over the world in different cities. It's like at set dates. And a friend and colleague of mine, whom I met last year doing a workshop, I think he's done it before, and he was telling the group at the workshop about it, and we're like, wow, this sounds amazing. And again, we're all from different parts of Europe, but we were like, oh, if we can do it together, that would be awesome. But then there were no cities close to us that were doing the 48-hour challenge in like the near future. So we're like, okay, let's wait until something opens up. And then he texted us a couple of weeks or maybe 2 months ago now, saying Brussels has opened up, which is the city where he lives. So I'm going to sign up, and whoever wants to be on board, you're welcome to join. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And
sorry, to give a little bit of the context for our listeners, this is the 48 challenge of filming experience where, you know, everything takes place within this set period of time, right? So the screenplay, the filming, the editing, and I believe the, you know, that demonstration, the showing the result, everything within this time slot.
Yeah. So the way it happens is on Friday evening, there's a drawing, and you have to be there, or one of the team has to be there in person for the drawing, and you draw. It's a surprise, you don't know beforehand, a genre, or actually 2 genres, and you have to use one of them. You can also use both. So it could happen that it's a musical and
horror.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Horror, yeah. And you can either then choose to use both or use one. You also draw a prop, I think, a name of a character who has to be included in the film. And something else that I forgot. Well, never mind. So you have these, it's these surprise things that you get on Friday evening. And then you have 48 hours to write the script, film it, do the post-production, do everything that has to be done. And
is it like in studio, or it can be
anywhere? Can be anywhere. And then on Sunday evening, you have to submit your film. And the screening then is, I think, on another weekend. But yeah, you have 48 hours to create it. And it has to be between 4 and 7 minutes long.
Wow, that is fresh. That's like...
Yeah. And so my friend and colleague who signed us up, he was like, Katharina, do you want to come on board as a director? And I was like, okay, yeah, why not? So I'll be directing. I'm also co-writing with 2 other guys. Yeah, and I'm really excited about this challenge because it's going to be over within 48 hours.
Yeah.
And you have to be super focused for those 48 hours, and then it's done. So I'm thrilled.
Yeah. I think it also gives you the right sort of the boost of energy somehow. I shared previously with Eva that I participated in filmmaking course where over the course of like 3 months we would just like shoot every single weekend, you know, then edit, then show, then move on to the next one, do the production, you know, the pre-production, everything. And it just makes you feel so good that you can do it. Obviously, you're exhausted, you don't sleep, you drink too much coffee, you're high anxiety, but at the same time, you kind of believe in yourself more that you're capable of finishing the project within this period of time. I think it's amazing. And yeah, best of luck.
Thank you.
When is it? When is the 48 hour?
It's the last weekend in September.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we might do a test run a couple of weeks before that, to just because the team has never worked together, or some in the team know each other. But so we're thinking about maybe doing a test run a couple of weeks before to, figure out how we work together.
The
basically.
rhythm of the team kind of thing.
Yeah.
And what about the casting? Do you have like...
Yeah, so we have a couple of people on the team who are also actors who sent in their self-tapes. And I can now look at them, and then we'll pick 2 or a maximum of 3 people for the main roles, and then write for them. And if we need any extras, we have enough people on the team who can, step in for a moment. But I think it makes it easier if you focus on just maybe 2 or top maximum 3 people for that project.
Is there any
it depends.
prize at the end, or?
I think there is, yeah. So there is going to be like an award ceremony. I think there's an audience award and a jury award. And we'll see. I've watched a couple of films who came out of that challenge when it was done in London, and the films are amazing. Really, really cool. Really, really cool things.
So do you now, is it again then going to be as international as your last film? Or are they more based in Brussels?
Well, they're
right?
they're based in Brussels, but they're all international. So my friend and colleague Yorgos, he's from Greece, and there are people from Italy, Germany, Austria. Yeah, so it's very international again, which I love, because I think it enriches a project if there are people from different cultures, different backgrounds. It just brings so much to the experience.
True.
And when we were filming Sweet Survival, for example, it was an amazing opportunity for people from Austria to experience how filmings or how shootings are being done in the UK. Or we also had crew from Spain. And the 3 industries work differently in some aspects. So it was amazing for them.
Tell us more about that.
Oh my gosh.
What are the differences? What is same? Like, that would be really interesting, because you really had there the opportunity to work with 3 different, like we're talking about in England and Spain and Austria.
Well, so let's see if I remember some differences. I might confuse them now, but there's some differences in the, I think, the workflow.
Okay.
And then also the responsibilities. Who's in charge of what exactly?
Okay. And how the workflow?
Oh my God. I'd have to ask Luna, because she probably remembers. I don't exactly remember now.
I can tell you when I was on set last time. No, before, when I was on feature film that I was producing and acting in and working on. And we were working with, it was Austrians and then Chinese crew, or actors from China and producers, the production side. And it's really interesting because the main crew was Austrian. And as I said, the actors and then the 1 producers from China. And the interesting thing was that they are used to working until they drop dead, I think. They're just like this. And here in Europe, it's like, wait, we're over 10 hours. We need to sleep. We need to turn around so that people can, in the morning, function. And that was very interesting to see that different kind of, because those from China were like, why? They're just so used to it. And they're just so used to, like, the actors just functioning. You just function. And then the producer obviously going like, you have to function.
Mm.
That it was a very interesting clash. In the same way, I think it was really healthy for the Chinese actors to just go and see that there's a healthier way to do this. So that was, and also for the Austrian side to just cherish that we're not like in LA. Like when I was working in LA, it's even different there. It was like 7 o'clock, we're done, like 7 p.m. And I was like, what? Like, it's not 12, like it's not midnight or anything. I was like, why are we stopping? I was confused then because that's the Holy, because they obviously have SAG and everything there. So they really protect people there. We do not have that in Austria, and they definitely don't have that in China. So it's really interesting, like these different worlds, that is the Chinese film and Austrian, and then LA market, like the American one. For me, seeing these different worlds. And as I said, in America, I was just like, it's 7, and I was the leading actress, and I was like, I'm going home now. I was like, but we're not, are we done? Like that was so it was really everybody dropped everything. It was just like done.
I
think it's
Obviously,
also a bit of a cultural thing, no?
Yeah. And it's very protected in America, because they have just, like, if we're, independent is obviously a little bit different always than huge blockbusters, all of that. But it's really special that they have that protection. And then in Austria, you have, as you know, we can work 10 and more hours, but at least there it then stops, So that was interesting. So that's why I'm wondering, I haven't worked with anyone in Spain nor in London, like, as in I haven't done that.
I think when you were talking about LA, I think UK is similar, not as strict, but I remember now our UK producer Eva, she was like, oh my God, we're keeping people here for like this amount of hours. We gotta release them, But the Austrian crew was like, what? No, we can go on. If you give us pizza,
what do you mean,
fine.
sleep?
Yeah,
the pizza crew.
Yeah.
We have pizza. We don't need anything else.
But I think also because people were, I mean, it was an independent production. It was a low budget production. So the crew that we had on board, they were aware that it's a short film, and they were aware that it's not the same on a commercial shoot. And they were very willing to put in more effort and more work to make it look great. My gaffer, for example, he said, I don't mind spending another hour working on the light if then the end product looks great.
Which it does. I have to say that again. Which is it does. So
they did an amazing job. Yeah. And the circumstances were not the easiest. So they really did an amazing job. So probably on our set it was like UK had the strictest rules, then Austria, then Spain.
Spain were like, hey.
What is time?
I had this thing also in Italy. It was like, actually taught me so much, honestly, like how to even respect my own downtime, because that I'm like an workaholic at heart. So for me, I'm also coming from a corporate background. So it's when you don't have breaks, even like, for food or sleep, or like even toilet breaks sometimes in the legal field, that if you're working on a case, then everything is kind of off, And then I worked with Italians, and they were like, why are we speaking still about this? We're enjoying coffee. Or like, let's just have a break. Oh, the food is going to be cold. Like we would order all together. And the actors would be like, oh, the food is here. Let's go. It's like, what do you mean? We're still like kind of shooting. I was like, no, but like the pizza is going to be cold. I was like, oh my God. And at first, like it kind of shocks me. But then it's a question about boundaries. And that is something that Eva said, that we all should learn to respect and to do it in a healthy way. But it's good then you have the mix. Then some people are more like work driven, other people are more like, okay, let's just also have some life and enjoy the balance. And it's this kind of like the synergy, the symbiosis of things that I think the international crew brings. Apart from obviously everything else, the creativity, the multiple perspectives on the process of filming and everything. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sounds like you were very lucky with your first film, and not just lucky. I think this is something that's going to continue because you have this kind of energy. You're very calm. You have this just beautiful kindness that just seeps from you. It's like really beautiful.
Oh,
And I think
thank
that
you.
is also the plus. And I think that's why people want to do more. People are willing to go like, no, let's make the best out of this.
Mm.
And I had that, and I think that's the most beautiful thing is that were you able on set, because my last film that I was now in, it's a short, that was the first where I really, after working with Valeria, which was amazing because she held the space so in it was like with her first, I love you, girl. Like my heart's just like working with her first was like the first time that I kind of started like calming down and just going like, I am here as the actor, I can let go, I can enjoy. And then that continued to the next project that I had here in Austria, where I was like even better for me and easier for me than to let go, because I had this amazing experience with her. Because as a director, she just holds you, like she gives you this beautiful frame that you feel safe in to just let go as an actor, which is amazing. We so need a lot of times. And then so I was able to the next one just go like, oh my God, it was beautiful, like even more, because then my body was like, oh, this is possible because I experienced it with Valeria. And now I know this exists. And I was like, it was amazing. Then the next one. How was it for you wearing all these hats? Yes, you were exhausted and everything. Were you able during the process to like enjoy it, have fun?
Question.
Yeah. Yes, I was enjoying it. I found myself at times just, being amazed by and so grateful. I felt a lot of gratitude during the filming as well. And I remember, I think it was the second night, I found myself sitting in my living room writing this rant of gratitude and sending it to everyone, which is something that probably I could have, said to them, because it was my first time directing, so I was very new, very green, and I didn't know, what was appropriate or what was required from a director to say on set, or to, I mean, I had read about a lot of different directors' experiences and also actors. I remember reading something. It was Emma Thompson who wrote about her experience on the set of Sense and Sensibility, I think. It was basically her diary. And so I knew a bit how other directors were on set, but I was like, I'm not them. I'm not this experienced, white guy in his 40s who has done, I don't know, 20 films. So I was a bit insecure maybe at times. But still, I was like so grateful to everyone. And I had this mindset of curiosity and being willing to learn from everyone, because I know very little about I don't know, light design or costume, or I mean, I know little in the sense of I never studied it, I've experienced it. I have maybe a feeling for things, but I might not be able to put that into words. So I trusted my team a lot and I learned from them, and I love that. And I think I tried to encourage them to do their best and to try things they want to try, because I also knew that they're doing me a huge favor by coming on board and being willing to work for my project. So I wanted to give them the space to explore. And yes, I did have fun on set as well. But I think the gratitude, that feeling of gratitude was even more present, probably. Being in awe, being like, wow, I can't believe that this thing that we started that back then it was 4.5 years ago, that this is finally happening with these people coming together from different parts of the world, also different worlds of mine. You know, I had my world in London, I had my world in Vienna, and I had my bubble in Spain, and them coming together. So that was really beautiful.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful. I love it. Well, talking about having fun, I want to go into your stand-up comedy.
Ooh.
You started, which is so exciting. And how it has shaped you as an actor now, or, you know, seeing the way you write. Has there anything changed? Because I mean, that is really being brave too. You're very brave, I have to say. Everything you're doing it's not tiny things. And it's like, and standing up on stage and being like funny, which can, we know, like, you know, it's not the easiest. Yeah, has that changed the way you maybe work on characters now, or why did you even start? Like, tell us about that.
I started doing stand-up because after my breakup, one of the first things that happened in my brain was that my brain was telling this story in a very funny way. And humor has always been something that helped me get through things. I think it's also important to feel the sadness and, you know, the hurt and everything. And humor is essential. I think if I lose my humor, I know something is really, really wrong. As long as I keep my humor, I know I will survive. And so I had the breakup, and then I had, a year later, I had an accident where I was run over by a motorcycle. I was on my bike, and the motorcycle crashed into me and broke my leg, my knee, and I had to go into surgery. I was in crutches for 3 months. I'm still recovering from it, almost 2 years later. And my brain again I heard inside my head, I heard this bit about the accident and somehow my brain connected it to like dating or like romance, because I'm a very romantic person. And so I wrote it down, and then I read it to a friend, and she was like, "Oh, that's really funny. Don't you want to perform that?" And I was like, "I don't know if I want to perform that. I don't know." So after being on crutches for 3 months and having a very limited social life and not being able to go out a lot, I thought, I want to get out of my comfort zone. What can I do? And I started looking into stand-up comedy in Vienna, and I found the Comedy Pub, which had been running, I think, for maybe a year then, not too long, I think, if I remember correctly. And so I signed up and I went there and I performed the bit about the accident. Still, you know, I was still limping. I think I was still using one crutch when I went there. I didn't take the crutch on stage, but I had to use it, you know, going around town. And I did it, and it was fun. And then the host, Homer, I think he's the founder of the Comedy Pub, he was like, "Come back tomorrow, because we do comedy nights almost every night. Come back tomorrow." And I was like, "But I'm not gonna, like, I can't write something new until tomorrow." And he's like, "You don't have to write something new. It's an open mic, and that's there for people to try new stuff. And you do it 100 times, and you can tweak it and polish it and work on your act." So open mics are amazing spaces where you can try out stuff. And there are seasoned comedians who come there to try new stuff, or newcomers who try things.
So brave.
Yeah. And I think I love making people laugh or feel something, or also stand up for me, or the things that I do in stand up. I'm not very political, I think, or everything's political, but I'm not so great at making jokes about politics, I think. I make fun about myself a lot and things that are relatable. I love bringing out what is relatable. You know, may that be experiences we have with ourselves, with our families, with our friends, with love, with self-doubt, with accidents. Yeah, that's why I started comedy, and that's why I'm still doing it. But if I'm on a longer break, like for example, now I'm away from Vienna for a couple of months. And last time I went away for a couple of months, I had to really, give myself a kick in the ass to go back to it and do it again.
Scary.
Because the more you do, the more you know what you don't know, and so yeah. And it has influenced my writing, probably in the way that I'm more and more encouraged to bring comedy to scripts. Yeah.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have a question about your early life and upbringing. Somehow we skipped it. And I think, like, what shaped you? Because it seems like you have this very kind presence about you. And that's not to say that you didn't struggle or didn't have hardships, but it's something that I think starts in the early childhood. If you can tell us, how was it for you, and what started you on the creative path initially?
That's a good question. I was a very introvert child, I would say. I always loved watching people and observing my surroundings, the adults around me, the kids around me. And then I don't remember so much about like kindergarten. I know that I loved my kindergarten teacher and I wanted to be like her. And I think she was probably a very kind person. And then in primary school, I had a wonderful teacher, Frau Jonsson. And she did 2 theater plays with us every year. So we did one in summer and one in autumn, winter, I think. And that's when that was my first contact with performing. And I also started taking dance classes. I started with ballet, which was not my cup of tea at all. And I later then switched to contemporary dance, but I did ballet for like, I don't know, 4 years. My ballet teacher was not very kind, I think, so I didn't want to be like her. Yeah, so that time in primary school where we did the plays, we designed the costumes, we made the costumes with our parents and our teacher, and we drew like big posters that were then used as stage design. And I just love that, coming together, as a class and creating with the other children. And then later I decided to go to a school, to gymnasium, high school, is that middle school and high school, that also offered drama classes, like outside of school hours. And I got into that. And my siblings got into that as well. And my mom and my stepdad also were involved. And it was a huge organization, youth theater organization. I think at one point it was the biggest in Europe. And we went on these international exchanges, international theater festivals, youth theater festivals. And I just loved, meeting people from the Baltic states or Spain or Ireland, coming together, watching the different approaches, because they were all a bit different, and you could tell, oh, this Czech group, they have this very specific style, and I loved watching the different styles and the different approaches to theater and to performing and to storytelling. I think storytelling is what connects all of the things I do.
So you knew pretty much early on that you wanted to be part of the creative space.
Yes, I knew that it was an integral part of my life. And I think at the age of 12, I wanted to become a florist. I love flowers. Then my mom was like, but there might be spiders and bugs.
I don't like spiders and bugs.
I don't love spiders. I'm okay with bugs. I don't love spiders. But it became very clear that I wanted to try become an actor. However, no one in my family was a creative or an artist by profession. So I had to figure it out myself. And I did. And I carved my own path. Yeah. I later then found out that my great-grandfather, he was an actor, but I never met him. He was not talked about a lot in my family. I later then also found out that my granddad had wanted to become an actor, but because of the war and the state of the world, he then became a lawyer.
That happens.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is also interesting because I think lawyers also have a lot to do with storytelling. And, you have to grasp the story that's in front of you and make sense of it somehow. Yeah. So, but yeah, I had to carve my own way, find my own way. I was supported in the sense that my mom was like, I know you're going to do it anyway. So I'm going to help you get your own credit card so that you can book your own flights when you need to go to auditions for drama school to Germany and stuff. And I trust you. You can go there. Like I was traveling around during the night, traveling across Germany, ending up in some, train stations at 4 a.m. with some punks. And my mom was supportive in the sense that I knew I had her trust and that I could always come back home. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
So does that answer how I was shaped? Maybe.
I think it does.
It does.
Yeah.
This has been amazing. So beautiful having you here. Thank you for your precious time. It's your energy is just like, I don't know, I feel so good around you. I feel like I'm meditating at the same time. I'm just like
oh my God.
I feel nurtured.
and fulfilled and also excited. Like I think I should look into this 48 challenge, 48-hour challenge. Like there's something like that. And I'm like, and this is what I believe in. It's exactly what you're living. I said, this is also the way you can make films. In this beautiful space that you live in. Like you just, it's amazing. I'm impressed. Thank you so much. This has been a delight.
Thank you so much for having me and sharing my story. I hope the listeners didn't fall asleep.
Oh no.
I think they have a lot to learn. There's so much to learn because that's the thing. It's like there's so many different ways and paths to creating. And it's just beautiful seeing that in this calmness you were able to create this beautiful film, which is, well, it's a little bit of a horror, guys, just saying that. Did you think this is some flowery film? It's not. It's a horror a little bit.
Tiny bit.
With the international crew. And you could have had it easier. You could have done it in Austria and just had Austrian, because there are amazingly talented human beings in Austria.
Yes.
As in every other country.
Yes.
But no, you didn't. Yeah. And I think that's what makes it all very exciting. And that's the way you're going to continue working, I can hear. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I showed the film to my grandmother once, and she watched it, and she looked at me and she was like, "Did you create this?" And I said, yeah, I did. And then she looked at me and was like, "Why?" So yes, I think the film is very different to my personality, maybe.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.